back on another exciting episode of Starfleet Sohail, where we have a casual and informal conversation about Star Trek. Today we're focused on Star Trek Lower Decks, Episode 6. I said it was Episode 5 earlier, but I was wrong because it was Episode 5 of Star Trek Discovery. Parth Ferengi's Heart Place.
Outrageous.
It's one of the... I don't know why I have trouble with this title. It's one of the hardest titles to say. Hey, Cake. Nice to see you. Cake is Eternals in our live chat audience. By the way, if you're watching this and you'd like to join us in the live chat, that is on YouTube. So just find the link and go to YouTube. Otherwise, and say hello. I think of this show as kind of interactive. So, it's not just Toddy and I talking. Sometimes we're talking with you guys. So yeah, Toddy, how are you? It's nice to see you. Happy Friday. Happy TQIF.
Woo. Hello. How are you? I'm doing good.
I'm good.
Happy Friday to you too.
You made it in the nick of time, and I am pleased to say you're not on the shit audio, you're on the good audio. Usually sometimes when you're in a rush, it's like who knows what's gonna happen.
Everything, yeah, it's all chaos. No, it's good. It's fine.
Did you know the reference that the title makes, or did you look it up or anything like that? The title of this episode, Parth Ferengi's Heart Place. Did you get what that was a reference to?
No.
I didn't get the reference.
I just assume it's like a reference to like a TOS episode, but maybe I'm wrong.
It sounds like it, right? It does totally sound like it. But I found out, and I found this out when this aired, and then I forgot about it, and then I found out again when I looked it up just recently that it's a reference to a season of horror called Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. And it's a show in the UK, and apparently it stars, among other people, Matt Berry, who I'm hoping is Sybok. So on Strange New Worlds, I'm hoping that's who they cast as Sybok.
Marenghi's Dark Place.
Yeah, so it must be a good show to get the name.
It's some obscure thing that Mike McMahon is a fan of, probably. Like that's what's going on, right?
It has to be, yeah. That's got to be what it is. So yeah. Maybe he's already talked about it. We'll have to look online and see if there's any interviews about it.
There's only 6 episodes to it. It's like a mini series of some
we could totally do that. I could totally watch that sometime. Norman Buckwald's in the audience. Another great episode. What is Paramount thinking this season? Is Cerritos strong? I totally agree. I wish
they're mad.
They are mad, right? Green Eye, who is in the audience, says eating. We'll type later. That's cool, Green Eye. No worries.
Don't type and eat, people.
Between a Parth and a Heart Place, that's actually quite clever. That would have been a great alternative title. There was the character Parth in the episode, who was the concierge. Toddy, do you want to give the episode summary? Hey, Benji.
Yes, I can do that. I'll try to get it done quick. The Ferengi, is it the Ferengi Alliance? Is that what we call it? The Ferengi Alliance? Or the Ferengi
I think
people, they want to join the Federation. As we know, like we've seen Ferengi be part of the Federation, I think, is it like Discovery recently? Like the new Federation or whatever it is, right?
Yeah, there was a captain or someone on the council or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so the Ferengi want to join the Federation, and so they have sent Grand Nagus Rom. Yeah, boy, he's back. And he has to basically discuss with Captain Freeman and that other guy that I forget his name.
Yeah, Admiral. I forget his name too.
We've already seen him, right?
Yes. He's the one who was saying sensors or
sensors. That's right. Yeah. So we have to. So they have to discuss the fine print and what have you of this whole agreement to joining the Federation, and of course, like Rom plays them. You know what I mean? He's dumb, but he's not dumb. You know what I mean?
No,
he plays them he plays him for a fool, basically. Captain Freeman sees through this. She understands the Ferengi people. And so that's one whole kind of like subplot, I guess, which is the main Starfleet mission. Interestingly, the main true Starfleet mission is the C plot. And then I guess the main plot, our lower deckers plot, is that they have to be travel guides,
Look,
or like
that's the job
basically,
I want.
yeah, they got to be like TripAdvisor document. Okay, yeah, they got to go around doing like TripAdvisor kind of reviews for like everything that's going on Ferenginar, so that the people of the good people of the Federation can know what is good to visit and what's worth seeing when you go to the rainy and damp swamplands of Ferenginar. So Boimler has all of these activities planned, but finds himself
He
just
plans
watching
like he has
TV.
he asks Ransom like how many do people usually review, and he's like 4 or 5 places. And he's like I'll do 40.
Yeah, and no, so he just watches shows. He does a Star Trek Voyager when they go back to like 90s Earth and they all watch sitcoms and dramas. So he's watching and soaps. So he's watching Ferengi TV for his whole trip. Mariner meets up with Quinn. Hey, one of my favorite characters. One of my,
Quimp. I
Quimp.
think Quimp.
Quimp?
Yeah,
No, it's
Quimp. I
Quinn.
think it's Quimp.
Is it
Yeah.
Quimp or Quinn? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's
one of my favorite characters from like one of those earlier seasons of Lower Decks. He's the Ferengi that goes human, but he's not actually like that. He's a regular old Ferengi.
Yeah, I wrote it down. It's Quimp. Quimp.
Quimp.
I'll just give you a little.
So he's really cool, and Marina has some. She works through some stuff with Quimp, and it's nice to see that like they're good friends, and it's nice to see like where they both were at a certain point, and how like he's growing away from that, and so you really understand that Marina is growing. She's no longer who she. This is weird to say. The person that we see her be is no longer who she is. It's all a facade now, right? She's pretending to still be that way, but she's no longer like that. She has grown. But she's putting on that front still, and it's not working. And so like they work through that. She gets hammered at 10 o'clock in the morning. But
yeah,
you know,
she's doing
it's
the
10
bar
o'clock
review
on Ferenginar, so it's fine. You know what I mean?
She was most
different.
excited about the bar reviews. I thought that was pretty cool, and that I love that she orders. What is it? Dagger of the Mind was the name of the cocktail. I kind of want to make that.
And then of course we have one of my favorites of the very interesting. Let's pretend to be a couple. By your boy Rutherford and your girl Tendi. They're like, let's pretend to be a couple. And of course, you know, like it's weird because they have such good chemistry. The whole plot is they have such good chemistry and there's nothing awkward. And everything they do is always so like on the limits of like, are they is this sensual? Are they in love? What's going on? Is there a thing? But it's all platonic, right? And then so this time now they want to play it like we're going to be a couple, we're going to go sightseeing and do all the romance things, but then they kind of get like pushed really into it because they have the love package, and if they somehow divulge that they're not in love, then it's all a scam. They'll go to prison. God knows what will happen.
But then they start questioning it because they start
questioning it because they make each other blush because clearly they do have feelings for each other. They just I think they're not at that stage where they really know how to express it in a romantic relationship. So for the moment, I think they're comfortable in their platonic relationship that kind of has like a little moments in it. I just don't think, and that's very well illustrated by like the end scene where they climb into a Jeffries tube together. They're basically rolling onto each other, but in a platonic way, and they feel very comfortable with this. Nothing is weird and awkward.
So some people just can't do it with the label. Once the label's there, it just doesn't work. It's interesting. It's a weird thing. I think
interesting to think that like, so I know that people don't like labels and what have you, but like to think that in this 24th century or 24th century like future with all of these different aliens, can you imagine the amount of new labels that they would be, right? Like the different types of relationships that you can be in, the different types of genders and species that you can encounter. Insane. Shit's insane. So yeah.
It is insane.
So there we go.
But then Captain Freeman
Freeman saves the day.
Saves the day, right?
Saves the day because she like clearly Mr. Sensor is like I'm sure he has his qualities, but dealing with the Ferengi was not one of them. It's not one of his fortes, you know what I mean? So he didn't handle that too well. Captain Freeman saved the day. She managed to basically out Ferengi the Ferengi. and she earned Rom's respect, Nagus' respect, and yeah, and so they signed.
They signed, and so it's the first step
It's
towards
the
the
first
Ferengi
step
joining
towards
the.
the Ferengi joining. But of course, like
Yeah.
there's these ridiculous conditions, or one ridiculous condition where they have to, of course, they can get all the the amendments or everything that they adjusted. They can get all those adjustments, but only if they manage to have Konos join the Federation, which that's going to be a tough sell, even for a
Well,
Ferengi.
well, the thing, what I like is then Rom signs the standard paperwork after that, so we know that
Yeah.
all of that was. They don't have to recruit Kronos, but I wonder if by the 32nd century the Klingons aren't a part of the Federation. It'd be
Well, it
interesting to
would be
find out.
interesting to learn if they are part of the Federation and if it's thanks to if there was Ferengi involvement, because he could still take that as a challenge. Like, you know what? I might still try that. That would be cool.
Oh, it's a really good point. Norman raises. Lita was already a pro. Remember, she was a Dabo girl and needed to keep customers at the table and keep
That's very
playing.
true.
Yeah,
Lita must not be overlooked in this situation because, like, the con man that Rom was in the beginning, like, Lita very much like it was a duo. It's the dynamic duo that made it work.
100%. So,
Yeah.
so overall, what'd you think of this episode?
I sent you a text. I think I was like, so much is happening. It's all happening. I
Yeah,
loved it.
you're like,
I very much liked it. I like seeing old characters that we've already seen before. In this case, I got to see some of our beloved characters from Deep Space Nine. I also got to see Quim come back, which is a character that I love from Lower Decks. And then when it all works in like a wonderful story, it's great. Is it a bit over the top and a bit intense? The whole like love thing where they gotta eat chocolate and compliment each other? Maybe, but then it's a Ferengi love package in like a romance hotel. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know anything about Ferengi culture. Who am I to judge?
I love this episode too. I remember finding it delightful when it aired, and then watching it again for this discussion. It was just like I saw more little things that I found to be delightful, and I just think it's a great follow up to Deep Space Nine. Like to see Grand Nagus Rom, to see his. We always forget to leave out the little the beginning teasers when we have them. So we had that
Oh,
little
that's
teaser with
right. Oh, that
the
was so
Ferengi
good.
the lower decks. Yeah, that was really good too. But like you kind of see Rom's influence, like how he's like, we're not really trading weapons. We're gonna stick to more hospitality, customer service type things. Like he's really changing Ferengi culture. Not to say that they can't still use the rules of acquisition, and not to say that they can't still use their shrewd business tactics, but they're just changing their focus from warmongering type of things and like dealing in shadier things to dealing in more respectable things. And it's really changing the way, I mean, for the Federation
In the
to.
long run, it's a more prosperous endeavor, right? I guess.
Oh, of course, but also just for the Federation to kind of even consider offering the Ferengi membership is a big deal. And so you could see that that's the legacy, or like that's the influence of Grand Nagus Rom, and so he's really made reforms. I think women can wear clothing, as we saw in that one. I wasn't sure, if
There
those
was
are
a couple
female or male.
characters which I didn't quite like. I feel like they took female voice actors, but then that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
No, it doesn't mean
Um,
anything at all. But I like the
I
idea
didn't
that
see
he,
anyone naked though. Like there were no
yeah. So
naked females.
yeah, it looks like females are starting to wear. I'm sure like in any culture, there's like variations, and there's people sticking to the old ways or whatever. And
Or maybe in a more
while
traditionalist village. You know what I
traditionalists,
mean?
yeah, exactly. But I think that it's great that people have the choice now, whereas before they didn't have the choice. So it's really quite wonderful. Norman in the audience says, Ishka and Zek always wanted to pronounce their love if they could. In the new Ferenginar, perhaps love is paramount, especially when it comes to profits. Yeah, I
Mm,
like that. There were naked females at the tables in the background. Oh, okay, very cool. I'll have to
okay.
go back. I didn't notice, but I'll have to go back and watch now. Television, certainly, they were all clothed, yeah, on the TV. But Yeah, so I think this was a great episode for that reason, that it follows up on that and kind of gives us a little more it adds to the lore, if you will, of Star
Mm,
Trek, and gives us a little bit more in a little follow up to Deep Space Nine. This season's been doing a pretty good job of like, you know, Lower Decks we'd kind of gotten used to Lower Decks to being about Easter eggs, and sure, there are a lot of, not being about that, but one of its things was how they like planted Easter eggs, but now they're planting like little lore Easter eggs, which I like a lot more than just like a image of a, just like an object or what, if you will. But that being said,
right.
on Ferenginar, there's tons of like cool little, Easter eggs that I'm sure people have already picked apart, like, and stuff like that. We'll have to definitely talk about Quark's Federation experience at some point in the conversation. Uh,
But he has been the major Easter egg, I think. Like Quark's bar has been the thing that has come. Like we've had it in Picard. It's been coming up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Quark's got quite a huge empire going on, right? Like,
Well, he's got that Nagus money to back him up now a
yeah,
bit. You know what I mean? Come on.
yeah, that does help, doesn't
So,
it?
like,
That's
he's got
true.
a bit of a bailout, I think, option just in case it doesn't work
What
too well.
What did you think of for seeing like in this season of Lower Decks? We saw Orion for the first time, and I'm not sure, have we been to Ferenginar before? I think we've seen like the Ferengi
No, we
exterior
have
and
we
like
have been there because we've been to
the vault, or what is it
no,
called?
but we've been to Quark's house and Rom's house because we've seen Moogie.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So we have
Yeah, that's
seen
right.
the
But I guess we saw
the very
more
damp.
of
There was like a damp ass like
place.
no, but like one of those matte paintings that TNG
Yeah,
used
no,
to
no,
do,
I remember
or
now.
like
I remember
TNG. What's
now.
it called? Deep Space Nine did that.
I
Yeah.
do remember now, but I feel like this episode definitely expanded
Oh yeah,
Ferenginar in a way, yeah,
absolutely.
like we hadn't seen it before. So like I feel like we're seeing it like in a way that we
I mean,
hadn't.
to be fair, we missed out on something because they sent 4 people down to be like travel guides, and I would have enjoyed if at least one of those people had done that because I wanted to see the sights on Ferengi. No, we didn't get to really see them. We got like one was getting drunk, and then one was watching TV, and the others were going through like some sort of experience of their own. So we didn't really get to see the sights, which is
We
it's a shame, but yeah.
but we did see some interesting things like the Dominion War Memorial. Like that was funny when the one Ferengi's crying, like all the profits, all the income lost income.
Yeah.
Like that's so sad.
I got these big numbers. You're like, is it the names of the people that? No, it's just the names of the people that lost the most money, basically.
It's pretty funny.
Uh,
What did you think of the little mini Genesis?
that's in the like the teaser in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was it was good. Like the guy, the guy nearly drops it. What are you doing? You could have vaporized us. It was funny. It was funny. The Genesis device is something that it's like one of the most referenced things in Star Trek at this point. I feel like, it's either Spock or the Genesis device or both. What is this? I suspect the Ferengi bartender on Discovery was inspired by the historic effects for Qua. Yeah, probably. Probably.
Lost profits, stocks falling. Oh
No, no.
no. Rom would invest and name it after Quark. That's so Rom. It's true. Rom would be an investor. Um so what did you think of, I guess, for me, I could relate to the boimler thing because I don't know about you, but like I have like sometimes like a to-do list of like 12 or 15 items and I need to get through it, and then I'm like, oh, I'm just going to sit down for like 10 minutes or maybe 30 minutes and watch TV, and then the next thing I know it's like 6 hours later and I've gone through like so much television and binging, and I can get distracted like really easily. So I kind of related to the boimler thing the most. It's like I have all these ambitious plans and to-do lists, but then something can distract me like that. And I thought that was
Mm.
very relatable for me. What about you?
Yeah, no, I can relate to that. I absolutely relate to that. There's like the procrastination thing. And then especially for him, like we're used to this shit. You know what I mean? He's not. He's not used to seeing like watching shows and what have you. So like just
Oh
like
yeah.
immediately transfixed by it.
What did you think of the fact that I kind of don't know what to think that he doesn't know what a commercial is, like, or an advert. Like, is that like,
I
I
didn't
guess
get
that's
the
like
impression that he doesn't know what a commercial is. I just got the impression that he was reminded, oh yeah, that's right, they have commercials.
they called
Because
it like he said like a commercial, like if he didn't even know, like,
oh
you know what
okay,
I mean?
yeah,
Like,
that's true.
so it's like kind of like that's kind of odd to me. I feel like they would know, like they have the Federation News
Free
Network
Cloud.
and Free Cloud. Yeah, I don't know. Like I guess I don't know. Maybe in the TNG time it's less of a thing, which is this is kind of like
He's
before
low decks. He
Picard,
ain't got
right?
no time for that. You know what I mean?
People
But
aren't
then,
watching.
like, how do like
You
Starfleet's
know
got
what?
to have commercials, right? How do they
You know
recruit?
it. I just thought of something
Or is it
like,
propaganda full on?
well, I was just thinking about something. There's probably entertainment of some sort in the Federation, but I doubt they do have
Holonovels,
commercial.
right?
Yeah, holo novels, but I doubt they do have commercials really because they don't need to sell anything. Like it's a
Hmm.
right? Like, so what would you be doing an advert for, right? Like, there's not really anything to do. And I also think that probably um people started what how like post 9/11 this 24-hour news thing happened and became a thing, and now we have like 24-hour like news is like all the time, like like you can't escape the news. But before 9/11 really there was just like two or three time slots that the news came on, and then everyone read the newspaper, or in the early days of the internet you started going online and reading online editions of it. But then after 9/11 people became very news obsessed, and so I wonder if it's the same in Star Trek after the Utopia Planitia Mars attacks that occur, and then after that people are now obsessed with the news, and that's why the Federation News Network is so prominent when we see it in Picard and so on and so forth, because now society is a lot more obsessed.
Perhaps the Federation News Network from Picard almost kind of like reminded me of like the dystopian kind of news that you get in like the Hunger Games almost.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's
Um,
true. That's true.
it is weird to think though, because technically we talk holo novels. They don't need to make commercials for it or anything, but like the Doctor in Voyager later on, he's writing like these fictionalized holo novels of like his adventures on the Voyager, and he's talking about his experience like in an exaggerated lens. That's how he portrays it. But he's all happy about like he got like this publishing deal, and he has to get his holo novel back to the publisher, so that he can release it. But it's like, like, why is there a rush? What does this deal imply? Like, there's no money, right? Like nowadays, it's good to get a deal because you're gonna get money from it. But like, what is he getting apart from, I guess, the glory of having written something?
Well, yeah, exactly. People are not, people are doing it for the reward of just like accomplishing it. Like writing a holo novel is no longer a thing you do because you have to make
But
a
then you
living
can,
from it.
like, do you need a label, so to speak? Can't you just release it independently, or is it for the exposure? You get more people are aware of your work if you can go through like a
You're
public.
coming from an interesting perspective because we live in an age where there are no more gatekeepers. Like we can do what we're doing right now. We're like self-publishing in a
Mm.
sense and so on and
You
so
think in
forth.
the
But
90s they weren't
in
so
the
forward
90s,
thinking, perhaps?
they hadn't thought that this was going to be the paradigm shift because back then you had to go through the gate of a publisher. Someone held the keys to the kingdom, so to speak,
Mm.
and because we live in a scarcity minded
We broke
society.
into the garden now.
Yeah,
It's
but
our
now
garden
there's
now.
yeah, really the oddly enough, the barrier now, or like the friction now, is that there's so many writers publishing and so many podcasts. There's like 700 million podcasts or something like that. So while the barrier to entry, as it's known, is very small now, like if you can save a couple $100 a year, you can probably pay for a StreamYard's subscription, and then with another couple $100 you can have a
Get a
mic
mic
and
and good to go. Yeah.
camera, and you're good to go.
Creativity
but
is your limit, I guess.
yeah, I guess so. And a lot less money than it would have cost to get into these things back then. So yeah, the 90s holo novel going through a publisher and all that stuff, that's probably an accurate and that's not how the lower deckers would do it, I guess, but yeah. Let's see, there's some cool stuff here. I don't have TV, so whenever I go back to the US and watch TV, I get whammied with commercials we have a lot of I again, point of privilege here, but I pay on purpose to not have commercials, so I haven't seen a commercial on any media in years, but when I do see them, it's so frustrating. I'm like, oh, like, what's
So
going
I
so
haven't.
crazy. But it's true, there's a lot of commercials because our friend Braxton, watches Star Trek on the commercial version of Paramount Plus, and he says that it's what's normally like a 45-minute show is like an hour and a half.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So I haven't consistently watched TV like since I was 12, basically at this point. You know what I mean? So well over 20 years I haven't watched TV. The first and only time I restarted trying to watch TV was when I got to Canada and Discovery was coming out. I was like, I'm gonna watch this. They had like the Space Channel, and they put and so it was with Gary too. We watched like the premiere, like those first 2 episodes, and it was like this thing took me 3 hours to get through these 2 episodes because of commercials. I was like, never again. I will find another way to watch this. I will not watch it on television with these ads, and that was it. And so we don't have TV channels at home. Like we just don't pay for TV at all. We don't.
It's funny what Star Trek of old.
We have a TV, like the physical object, but the channels, nope.
I could have sworn also like someone on TNG says something like, "Oh yeah, no one watches television anymore. Television doesn't exist in the future." It might have been that episode where those temporal refugee.
The guys. He wants his stocks.
His stocks.
What's going on with? I invested.
Speaking of Ferengi, right?
Must be worth millions by now. Nah, bro.
So yeah, Boimler watches a couple of a few TV shows, but one
I love the
Hawk and Dar, the landlords, like it's
such a Ferengi show. No, I love the product placement and everything. There's a Sluggo Cola in absolutely every show, and everyone's got it. Even Ransom's drinking it. You know what I mean?
It's right. Where did Sluggo Cola first appear? Was it on Deep Space Nine?
No, that was on Deep Space Nine, definitely. When they started really, yeah. It's when they really started hammering in like the lore, and like the kind of like the bug context to like the Ferengi lore, and even I think Nog, when he goes off to like Starfleet Academy, he wants like the females to chew his bugs for him or some shit. You know what I mean? It's like, so they're really like going in on
it. Let's see here. Oh wait, my live chat is weird. Sorry guys, it's behind. Oh, there. Okay, I caught up. Okay. Data was explaining it to the musician out of time. Okay, cool. Including the annoying jingles, whether Cars for Kids or Jill earlier said that the Federation will never understand the power of jingles to permanently embed themselves. And Norman saying, including the annoying jingles, Cars for Kids. I don't know that one. Or taking a song you already know, like Don't Worry, Be Happy, Evil Earworms. But yeah, it's true. We do have a lot of jingles. What's your favorite jingle, Toddy?
I couldn't tell you.
Can you think of a jingle?
Can I think of a jingle? No, not really.
Like there's an example. This is a short one, but like, have you driven a Ford lately? That's like a jingle. Or like,
if I had to think of one, I couldn't. I don't know.
There's a lot of famous jingles. I can't think of one right now.
There are famous jingles, but I don't know.
What audience? What are your favorite jingles?
Maybe they work on me subconsciously, and I remember them in my sleep.
That's the point of them. They're earworms. They'll stick in your ear.
I have movie quotes always in my mind. You know what
Oh
I mean?
yeah,
Like,
Cake
yeah,
just said this one's a good one. I'm an Oscar Mayer wiener.
I don't, I don't.
Or my Baloney has a first name, it's Oscar. My Baloney has a second name, it's Mayer. Because Oscar Mayer
What?
has a way with Bologna. You haven't heard that one? You never
No.
heard that one either? Oh my
No.
gosh. Oh yeah, this is another good
But
one.
then this is very
Alka Seltzer,
American, right?
plop plop fizz fizz. Oh, what a relief it is.
This
What's
this
that?
is this is all US, right?
It might also be just like, since you don't watch TV, you're in that generation that
Yeah,
never.
I'm
Not
I'm
that you
a,
don't watch TV, but you don't have you don't watch commercials, so you don't know any jingles, which is pretty interesting. You managed to because you binged Voyager with your mom, not on TV, right?
yeah, no, it wasn't on TV.
It was like
Well,
through the
I mean, we
DVDs or
we
something,
would
right?
watch an episode on TV, but then we would tape it on the old VHS, and then there was the technique you would pause it when the commercial came on. You would pause your taping, and then when the
Yes,
episode resumed, you would hit play, and then
yes.
so you would then you would tape the episode, but without the commercials. It was genius. We were geniuses.
Very nice. That's true. I remember that. I found VHSs. We've been going through like stuff, and I found VHSs where you have like shows like MacGyver recorded and stuff like that. And so yeah, it's true. That's something we used to do. Um, I started with the Yankee Doodle Dandy for some reason. Some might argue it's the original earworm. I'm a Yankee Doodle Dandy, born on the 4th of July. But
That
anyways,
I've heard
that's
that
neither
one.
here.
I've heard that one before,
It's not a jangle, really. That's just
but I've heard
this.
that tune, right?
It's a song from what musical is that song from? Is it what is the musical that's from? I used
Yeah,
to know the
I don't dabble in jingles. I dabble in quotes. Avengers
This is not a
Assemble.
jingle, but if you watch Starfleet After Dark, you could find an episode where I'm singing the old McDonald's song, the one that it was like a contest where you had to come into McDonald's and sing the song, and they there's like a record and you have to memorize the song and stuff like that.
Oh, the
So
old
yeah.
McDonald. You mean the song from the restaurant chain McDonald's? I thought you were saying like old McDonald had a farm.
Oh, that's funny.
And I was
Yeah.
like,
No. Like, yeah, that's really funny. I did say old McDonald's. It's true. But yeah, that's a good one too. Um but wow, this Ferengi episodes make us talk about commercials and commerce and stuff. But what I was gonna say is I really thought it was clever and funny that
actually, you know what? It's not jingles, but it's like because of toddler on the tube, right? Or kid on the tube at this point. She's almost 6.
yeah.
It's things like
Wow. Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Bluey. It's like okay, we get it. Bloody Bluey, you know what I mean? Or Coco Melon. It's just those things, you know what I mean?
I don't even know what that is. I have heard of Bluey, but I didn't know there's like a song or
You would
Coco
love
what?
Bluey. You
I
would
would?
love Bluey. Yeah, Coco Melon, disregard that, but you would love Bluey. I know that you would watch that and you'd be like, shit's deep, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad the kids are being exposed to deep stuff.
No, it's a very good show.
Wow, kid on the 2, 6 years old. My goodness.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Starfleet Sohail's a little older. The show is a little older than
I
your
thought
kid on the
I was
2.
like, yeah, a little older.
Well, no, I'm a lot older. I'm a lot older than you, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, but whatever. Age is just a construct.
Construct. You know,
We're non-linear and non-corporeal, but we
exactly.
just don't
We are
realize
the
it.
Cisco.
We are the Cisco. Um, how did security know they had to drag Boims away from the TV? Ransom called them.
Ransom sent
Yeah,
them.
Ransom set
It was
them
sent.
up. Yeah, they
Ransom
were
must have
sent.
known. He was like, okay, come on. You know what I mean?
So as funny as Pock and Dar, the landlords skit were, I hey Ruben, nice to see you. As funny as Pock and Dar, the landlords skit was, I thought that it was kind of scarily true nowadays because we're facing like I don't know if you saw this chart. I
Oh
saw
yeah. Oh
this
yeah.
thing,
No,
like,
no. They didn't they made this show to be like very parody and very like it's very clearly like a Ferengi show, but that like they didn't have to dig deep to find the inspiration for it, if that's what you're getting at.
That's 100% what I'm getting at, and it's kind of like troubling because I think it's crazy that we're laughing at it, but it's also very true. Like I saw this thing about like how income versus rents, like over time from like I think it started in the like the 80s or whatever, and you can see like
Oh, the chart, yeah.
rents. Yeah, the chart on the chart, like rents are just like like a steep continuous up, and like income is like
Jesus.
trailing along like very slowly, and it's like what the hell.
Stupid.
Yeah, it is very stupid, and so yeah, that made me think of Pak and Dar and how they think they're the right on the right they're in the right. It's like they're the good guys in Ferengi culture. Like Pak and Dar, the landlords are the good. It's like Starsky and Hutch, but like evil landlords, and it's just like, oh man, this is messed up, yo.
And you know that like these people, like the young Ferengi, you know, they aspire to be the landlord. You know what I mean? They aspire to be the ones that have that cash and the buildings. You know what I mean? Can you imagine being a Ferengi and growing up renting? Like the shame. You don't even have your own place.
You
What?
don't have your. That's it. That's very interesting. Like as that's very interesting. It's true. Like I don't think I could deal with being a Ferengi.
I
Like
don't
I
think
don't
so
think
too.
I
I think
and
the culture would have clashed with my existence. I would have had to flee.
but anyways, let's see.
I would have pulled a Saru and left, never to return.
Do you think Tilly knows that Sluggo Cola is made of actual slugs? I think so. Maybe. I think Tilly would be
I
down
think
to.
that's common knowledge, though, wouldn't it? Like people know, right?
Yeah, it's true. What? So you touch on this in your summary, and I want to talk a little bit more about it because we've been talking. We talk a lot about Mariner. She's a pretty interesting character. Um, but yeah, it was neat to see this kind of new breaking point, like for Mariner in a
Yeah.
sense, like just kind of like trying to be what she and everyone expects. Like I like some of the little throwaways. Like they said, she's like, "Oh, I'm a lieutenant junior grade again," and Quim says, "Like I didn't think they'd let you after you crashed that Oberth." Like there's always these like Mariner has all these like interesting things in her past that I'm like dying to like see, like happen. Like she has this whole like crazy career, but yeah, like where do you think this is going? Is since you haven't really seen the season yet, like what do you think? What do you think's gonna happen to Mariner?
I feel like this season. So, of course, we now know that season 5 is going to end the show for now. Uh, um, I don't think at the point when they were writing this, so long before like even season 4 even aired, when they were writing this, there was no sign of stopping for the show necessarily. But I do think that they had something not final, but they had a turning point kind of like in mind for the end of the season. So maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like there's something coming up. And I have talked about it, I think in my previous season, like review or maybe just in the discussions that we had in season 3, I felt like maybe we were stagnating a little bit with Mariner's kind of like evolution and growth. But I do think like we're coming towards something here. And this episode is, first of all, it's a sign of that, but also it's great to use a character that knew her from before. It's like it's a great tool because all of these people, like the young Tilly and the young Boimler and the young Rutherford, which I guess they're younger than Mariner in that sense, like they didn't know her before. They didn't know all those experiences before. Clearly,
Tendi, by the way. Yeah.
oh yeah, sorry, Tendi. Clearly Freeman knows all about Mariner's past, but like that's
But
not.
she's got the parental perspective, which is
She
also a
does,
different,
and that's not
different perspective.
the
Yeah.
focus or the task of that character. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like on
Exactly.
screen, Freeman is not here to give us like exposition dumps about Mariner. That's not what we want from her. We want the captain to be doing captain things. Um. So yeah, but I feel like using Quimp in this fashion is awesome. And it was also really clever to show that they were kind of the same come a certain time, and that he's grown. He says, "I've grown out of it," or "I've matured," or whatever, because he puts it very bluntly, right? He's
Yeah, I
basically
like
you
the
still acting stupid, right? And like grow out.
yeah, what he said, you're in a perpetual state of immature rebellion, and I was like, wow,
Boom,
damn, Quinn.
boom.
Yeah, mic drop, right? Like
How you feel about
it's like
that,
really
yo?
good. Yeah, it was pretty that was pretty heavy, but I
But
loved
then,
it.
but
You're
then
right. It was
we
like,
we
yeah,
know that yes, she is, but it's also a front, right? She's really. It's about I don't know if it's about insecurities that she has, and it's really about just like fleeing the responsibilities or almost fleeing the potential that she has, and she doesn't want to. Because if you try to live up to, and I understand, if you try to live up to the potential that people say you have, you can fail, and that's scary, and then you feel like a failure. So if you just want to like flee from that and reject that, then technically, well, you can't be failing, right? Because you're not trying to succeed. But I also love the
yeah.
ransom reinforcement that's going on. Like
I was just gonna say, yeah.
he's going in there. He's just going in full positive reinforcement. He's doing everything to help her. He's like,
He's really
I'm
sticking
giving
to
you
his
kind
word of like,
missions. I'm doing you good
yeah.
things. He's still flexing about like I'm handsome and I'm nice. How do you feel about that? You know what I mean?
He is though. I mean, whatever. Like if Ransom was a live action character, I mean, even now sometimes Ransom's like pretty sexy. Hey, Aaron, nice to see you. That's our friend Geek Filter,
Oh, you
Aaron
would get it on
Harvey.
with animated ransom.
I would get it on with
So if you were
animated.
on a holodeck, would you be like, give me animated ransom or live action, or would it just depend on the evening?
Can I just do both?
Oh, you'd have two ransoms. Okay, fair
I
enough. Here goes.
mean, it's a holodeck, isn't it? But no, but like I like that he's sticking to his thing because ever up until now, I think Mariner said something to the effect of like how everyone kind of does give up on her, and and Ransom's just not going to do it. He's not going to let up. He's not going to give up. Do you think Mariner will push his buttons though at some point this season and maybe cause him to falter from his thing?
Perhaps now that you say it that way, it feels like it's a yes.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just throwing out.
But
I
I
could be
don't.
throwing out false.
I
I just
don't.
want to know
I
your
I
your
wouldn't
ideas.
like at this point where I'm at. I don't think so. I think that Freeman made the right decision because basically Freeman knows
She's too
that
close
she's too
to her.
close,
Yeah.
and Mariner knows how to push her buttons too well. So I think Freeman was like, you know what, I can't handle this. And everyone knows their limits. So she's like, I'm gonna give it to Ransom, and I think Ransom can do this. But then she is a mother. She wants to see her daughter succeed, of course. And then she's a
Hmm.
captain. She wants to see her officers succeed. So I think that but I think she did very well in giving this task to Ransom, and I think that he's handling it well. And yeah, no, I'm happy to see how this is growing. I'm also happy to see that, like, so I don't want a relationship between Mariner and Ransom, and for a while there was like this, maybe only for a couple episodes where like she was like, oh, he is handsome and whatever. But I feel like they've kind of stepped away from that.
Well, that was in the
Which
was it the first season when he rips off it when they're stuck in
the
that jail
crystal
cell
place, yeah,
together, the crystal place or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, I'm
yeah, yeah.
happy that like that's kind of away from it. That we're not moving towards that. But yeah, no, I don't know. I feel like we're gonna have like a Mariner moment.
A
I'm
Mariner moment.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if they eventually send her off to like another ship, because I do feel like she needs the current environment and current team to keep on keeping on, if that makes sense.
I think she's definitely gonna. I don't know. I don't know. It's a really interesting thing. I don't know what's gonna happen to our lower deckers, and since they already finished season 5, and they're not gonna get to really like put an end cap to anything, I have a feeling whatever the point that they're gonna be at the end. I hope it's not a cliffhanger. That would drive me. I would be devastated if there's a cliffhanger at the
Can you
end of
imagine?
season
To be
5.
continued. One of those
So
teams. To
far,
be continued. You're like, what? It'll
no,
never come back.
Lower Decks hasn't done cliffhangers yet, right? They pretty much wrap it all up at the end of the season, so
No, they
I
did
don't think
once. Didn't they once do?
what's
Yeah, they did
season
once
2
at
or
To Be
3?
Continued. Yeah, because Captain Freeman gets arrested.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. Well, I'm hoping. Even though
No, I
in my
think.
heart
Come on, I
I
think if they had a To Be Continued episode, I think even Paramount or Viacom CBS would be like, okay, just finish on like do the last one, finish it. You know what I mean?
Finish it, yeah.
Don't be like, we'll finish the 5 seasons on a to be continued. That would be ridiculous. What?
Geek Filter says that's food that you would get at the store. Oh, because there's I see. In the chat, they're talking about the restaurant that Quark, the Federation Quark's Federation experience, which was interesting. Let's talk about our happy little couple. We touched on this in your summary that like they have a very solid, fun, platonic relationship. We see that in the beginning. Their like their little feet are like they're under the under the sequoia, working on her, which is I love that that's what they love to do. They hang out together working on this shuttle that is just like a kind of a dumpy looking shuttle or whatever.
That's
but
it.
they're under there.
That's the finale.
Oh,
They need to fly off in the sequoia.
Oh, you're touching my heartstrings there.
It's either that, or we get a shot of like 4 new lower deckers that continue on the project of the sequoia.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice too. Oh, that's very sweet. But I don't know if that's the ending, but that's very sweet. Maybe it's one of the endings. but yeah, they're finishing each other's sentences. They're doing all this kind of stuff. And, I think we can all relate to that one friend that you feel like really close to. And then every now and then something like something happens that makes you wonder, like, could we would we be a good couple, and like and stuff like that. And I think that's where they were at. And then they're kind of put in the situation, and I love that they're like totally gung-ho about it, because even Ransom was even like, maybe I should. He kind of sees what's going on, and he's like, maybe I should assign Nurse Westlake, and I forget who else that he was thinking of pairing Nurse Westlake up with. And then they're like, nah, we're science, like, you give it to us, we can totally handle it. They're like totally fine. But then I like they get in line at the place where Parth is, Parth's like restaurant or whatever, and then that's when Tendi takes it just a little, as Tendi does, takes it just a little far. They're making up stuff that they would do together as a couple, and Tendi's like, yeah, and I would totally wear your your boxer shorts and no top and walk around, because that's what, like, people in love do, right? And then that's like,
yeah, it's like, we would totally
would
be naked together. And then he's, there's like the moment where he's like realizing, oh wait, what?
That was super relatable, because when you get caught up in like a really close friendship, sometimes it can cross that line a little bit, where you do feel like really comfortable around that person, but it's a little too much. So what do you think's going on? Do you think that Tendi, and like, there's a lot of people that ship Rutherford and Tendi, right? But do you think that like they're just fooling each other, that they are in love with each other, or do you think that it is truly just a friendship, and that it got awkward in this episode, and that was just like kind of an anomaly?
I think
Do you ship them, in other words? I guess
I
is what
ship
I'm
them.
asking. Yeah, you do.
I do think that they just, it's young love and they need time, and in this situation they were thrust into it a little bit,
A little preview of what's to come, perhaps.
But no, it was just too intense, too quick for them, like in this, because they weren't emulating like young love too. They were emulating like married couple. So it's like, boom, you had years together, you know what I mean? So I don't know, it was maybe a little intense for them, but also they do seem kind of career oriented, like both of them. Clearly they love what they're doing. They want to climb the ranks. They want to get better at what they're doing. They want to have like all of these different professional experiences in life. So maybe their focus isn't necessarily on like romantic relationships.
Right.
So maybe like this kind of like platonic plus relationship that they have is good, you know what I mean?
Or going back to like earlier, like some folks just don't like the labels. They just don't want to be known as a couple or anything. They just want to kind of go with the flow, if you will, and wherever the wind takes you. And that could be a thing that's happening too.
Of course, she's Orion, and even if she, I guess, like rejects the stereotypes of her people and what have you, she has to be like, I guess, ingrained in her culture in some way. Like there's Orion culture going on that maybe we don't know everything about. So we don't know how relationships necessarily work, in Orion culture. We don't know how they react and work with labels. Phlox, bloody hell, has like 3 wives that each have 3 husbands. So like
Right. That's
it's a
true.
whole thing, you know what I mean? Like, so the
Well,
family reunions are massive and what have you.
based on Something Borrowed, Something Green, they seem to have a pretty traditional wedding relationship thing, even though it's kind of flipped in terms of the roles of the genders, if you will. Like it seemed like that was the one difference, but it did seem like they were into, and Tendi comes from a mom, and like her mom and dad seem to be only married to each other, so there are some kind of like some similarities to like a more traditional idea of pairing up and partnership.
But then keep in
But
mind
then they're
that,
also very sex positive and have like moan
yeah,
dungeons and other stuff like that. So
I don't know if Moan
you
Dungeons are sex positive, but
they I don't
there's
know.
sex involved, I guess.
There's sex involved, yeah, indeed.
Keep in mind that I do feel like there is an element of classism going on with like the Orion people, and
Mm.
Tendi seems to be from like upper class, right? They seem to
Yeah,
be rich,
for sure,
and
definitely
if
one
you
of
were
the
to look
fifth
at
largest
even
family.
within
Yeah.
the same countries, um, upper class, lower class, middle class often have like cultural differences. You know what I mean? Like even within the same countries, in the way like they handle different things. So on the Salient Species, maybe like certain Orion people don't do things exactly the same way as like her family would. Culturally, I don't know. And then of course, Rutherford, he has like a Vulcan implant. So it doesn't make him Vulcan, but there's clearly Vulcan, programming involved in every train of thought. Or is it a
Yeah.
Romulan implant? No,
No,
it's a
well,
Vulcan one.
it's a Vulcan implant, yeah. But it's interesting. But as an aside, I think it's hilarious that Ransom was like, there are no couples on the Cerritos because we're the horniest and least committal starship. But yeah, the Ferengi have an interesting and weird thing about like putting things on show and display. Like they had those games that they were playing at the dinner, uh will they won't they, and then the sexy chocolate statues of each other that they have to like eat while giving a compliment, and then what was the other thing? The- there was the consummation. They had to consummate their relationship inside of this like
I would
shuttlecraft, and he's
love,
like
I would love, and this may seem weird, I would love to see a sexy chocolate statue of me just out of curiousness. I'd be like, what the fuck are they like? What would they do? You know what I mean?
you wanted sexy chocolate statue. Well, you're a baker. Couldn't you make a
I'm not gonna make
sexy?
sexy chocolate statues of myself. That's ridiculous. Who the hell would do that?
I feel like how you did the macaroons for our discussion
No,
of
I refuse.
you
I
need
would
to make
not.
a
No,
sexy chocolate
of you.
statue. No, of you and your wife on the team, maybe. Or I give you permission to make a sexy chocolate statue of me, actually, but you're not allowed to eat it.
I'm not allowed to eat it and compliment you. That's not how it works.
No, that's not how it works. We're not reviewing a Ferengi. We're not reviewing a Ferengi establishment here.
I would
And I want you
enjoy.
to
I
make it
would.
from
I
I want you to
okay.
make it from Mexican chocolate.
So this isn't
Spicy
from
spicy.
this isn't from a sensual or a romantic point of view, but I would like to see sexy like sexual or sensual chocolate statues of our little troop here, our little Star Trek troop. It would be funny, I think.
I think it should be done. I'll instruct you on my pose offline.
I'm not doing it. Calm down,
you
settle
gotta
down.
do you
No,
gotta
no,
do
no, no. We'll find someone to do it, but
all
I'm not
right.
doing it.
Anyone in the audience volunteer to make sexy chocolate statues of me, Toddy, Fathery, Aaron? Aaron can get one too. Rachel. It might be a really fun thing.
We'll send them all to Jerry O'Connell. He'll eat them.
Cake Eternal says that I have to do the boimler pose. That's
Oh,
what
I see. We can all do the boimler pose, and then we can make like a flower out of it.
I don't know if the internet's ready for this.
It's too much. Too much for the
If we
internet
didn't
to
have our
handle.
audience's attention before, we certainly have it now. But I love that Miglimo almost
The algorithm's gonna love this. I'll tell you that.
It's um oh my gosh, so Miglimo comes in and almost ruins the damn thing by talking about how they're his favorite platonic couple that
Who the hell says that?
No, I know who says that. He's such a doof.
Who announces such a thing?
And then, but they come out of that really cleverly by
He's a bird, though. Like, we don't know anything about birds.
He's
Maybe
bird
birds...
brain, right? He's got a bird brain. That's an expression.
Okay, don't be ridiculous. Don't be racist. Don't be speciest.
Don't be speciest. But
maybe birds are all about labels. Maybe they're like super labely.
Well, Miglimo definitely is. He likes to do it. But it's so funny how they convince him and the Ferengis.
He's a therapist. He's a therapist,
He's a
right?
therapist. Yeah,
so he has
he's the ship's counselor. He's the ship's.
Yeah, so he has to label things in order to like correctly understand them and treat them or help people. So like, yeah.
I like that they offer him the homewrecker package. And he's like, "You don't have to throw up in my mouth, regurgitate in my mouth twice." It's so weird. It's so weird.
Shout out to Tendi and Rutherford for looking so good, though. By the way,
they looked really good.
Dashing.
Especially Tendi. I have to say they drew her very, very voluptuous. Miglimo does nothing right.
But it's the dress. They got the sparkles on the dress too. But even like Rutherford was looking. No, they were looking good.
Aaron says we told Mike he was the worst counselor in Starfleet, but he said everybody still goes to him, so he can't be that bad. I think this episode proves he is the worst. It's true.
What was it called? Starbase 80.
Yeah,
the Cerritos is Miglimo's Starbase 80. Like they sent him here. Like just stay on that ship.
Love that guy. I really love. I love Paul F. Tompkins. By the way, shout out to Max Grodacek and Chase Masterson who reprised their roles as Lita and Rom. So that was cool to get another cameo.
Very cool
from them. Well, so yeah. Then I guess in the summary we talked about this, but going back to the ship for a second, I do like that the Admiral, when he saw Captain Freeman,
click the link below for sexy chocolate versions of us.
I think that would sell. I might have to look into this. Like
the shipping might be a little complicated. If you live out in Arizona, it might be a little complicated to ship.
Complicated to ship it, yeah. But it does have a ring to it. Sexy chocolate toddy. Like there is something about that. I don't know. I might have a business proposition here. But yeah, I like how Captain Freeman never once got fooled by the whole dumb cop, smart cop routine that Rom and Lita were doing. But I loved seeing how patient Freeman was, like even though the Admiral kept like kind of cutting her off and dismissing her ideas and like thinking he knew better, at the end Freeman kind of just kept her cool and was patient. She definitely like obviously was probably annoyed by this and like was thinking, oh gosh, like this Admiral thinks he knows everything. But I do appreciate that, like in typical, this is something I think that I love about Star Trek, is that when, especially in the Federation and Starfleet, when a character's wrong, they really just have no ego about it. Like I like how the Admiral was like, you know what, like that was awesome. You saved the day, and I'm gonna definitely make sure that Starfleet. He even says I'm sorry, which was great. And he's like, I'm gonna make sure that Starfleet is aware of your acuity in this matter, and I really like that. I thought that was a cool thing, and I also love seeing Carol Freeman on top, which is
If
great.
only our real world job experience could be so similar, eh?
Yeah, well, it takes. I think that's the thing, is that like it's funny, we're laughing and we're enjoying it, but it's a little uncomfortable because in the real world things are starting to look a lot more like the Ferengi than the Federation, right? Like, and I hope there's enough of us out there trying to be like the Federation, even though these are probably, at least in my lifetime, some of the darkest and kind of gloomiest and doomiest times that I've witnessed. With everything that's going on in the world, not anything, specific per se, but I think that I'm laughing because of what you're getting, what I'm about to put on the screen. Thanks for having a screenshot about this, but yeah, I think it's more important now for those of us who kind of believe in the message of Star Trek to try our best to be, like examples of the future or the world we want to live in. But here we go, back to the sexy chocolate statue. I like, is that candy corn shaped bra that Tendy's wearing? Because that looks like candied corn. Like,
perhaps she'd be looking like a mermaid, to be honest.
a little bit, yeah, a little bit there. Like how Rutherford's doing this. Like,
Yeah, Rutherford's got the oops kind of thing going on.
These are very accurate sexy chocolate statues.
Very good job.
They're like very
they have top class chocolatiers over on Ferenginar. I say that. You know what I mean? I would love to go and taste the chocolates of Ferenginar. Got all these bug tastes. I'm sure there's probably what's it called, Sluggo chocolate available. Yeah, Madonna top. That's
oh yeah,
right.
it is like that. That's true.
Probably right.
Let's see. Okay. The 60s were very violent, so I've still seen scary times. Actually, Jill, that's kind of comforting to know that this isn't the scariest time you've seen in your life. So hopefully it doesn't get it's good to know that we still have hope to turn this time around. But yeah, for me personally, it's definitely, in my age, it's been the scariest time. They brought up Madonna bra for Tendi. That's a weird, whatever that's. So, but yeah, not candy corns. It's the Madonna bra. But I don't know. I still think those are candy corn bras. I don't know. Or candy corn bikini.
It's chocolate. It can be whatever you want.
Indeed. So yeah, I think we covered all the like major things. Are we missing anything from the episode? The Vancouver class was in the episode again, which is such a gorgeous ship.
Nice
I love
ship.
seeing that ship. Yeah. I think that's it. Yeah, I think we covered everything. We don't do like really Easter eggs and stuff on this show unless it's we're gonna unless it's something we're gonna talk about. But I guess I'll ask you my usual question. So, any ideas? Any ideas as to the mystery ship and what's going on? Still nothing, or do you have any further ideas?
Clueless.
And you haven't been spoiled yet, right? Audience,
I haven't been spoiled.
Okay, good.
Potty. At this point, so from what I understand, from what I remember, they've attacked Romulans. They've attacked like Ferengi. They've attacked what was it? No, that's it, right? Oh no, they've attacked multiple people. No, they've attacked Orions as well. So they're indiscriminately attacking everyone. Yeah.
And the look of the ship, does it remind you of anything in the past that we've seen, perhaps?
I don't know. They remind me of Tusken Raiders. It reminds me of like the face of a Tusken Raider for some.
That's an interesting thing, yeah. But all right. Well, I'll just try to keep.
It's not Tusken Raiders. I'll tell you that.
No, we know it's not Tusken Raiders, but
it's not the Book of Boba Fett. God damn it! But
Boba Fett. But yeah, keep it quiet, audience. Don't let Toddy know. Toddy doesn't go on the internet, so we know he won't get spoiled that way. So that's pretty good. He rarely goes on the internet, I should say.
I specifically stay on like the YouTube videos that I want to click on. So yeah.
All right, good. So yeah, we'll find out. Well, episode 7 next week. Are you excited?
Should I have guessed by now? Am I dumb, or is it?
No, I'll tell you this. I didn't guess till I think they finally revealed it. So
okay. So I'm not like a clueless moron here.
No, I can't even think of any podcasts.
Oh, no one came up with it in advance? That's interesting.
I don't think so. Audience, do you remember if anyone like knew what it was? I'm not sure.
Or at least that means I'm in the norm, right?
You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. Well, next episode is called A Few Badgies More. What is that reaction? You didn't, not a fan of Badgie, are you? No, I'm not a fan of Badgie, but I think you're gonna like this. I think you're gonna like this.
No, I hadn't read the title in advance. Oh my god, A Few Badgies More. Okay, here we go.
Everyone in the audience is saying it was a surprise to most folks. Geek Filter, Aaron Harvey says the only people who came up with the answer were those who had the screeners and pretended they didn't, so they'd look smart. Yeah, I agree with that. It was pretty
posers.
Yeah, posers. Anyone who came up with it as a poser, they were pretending. Posers. It's true.
Well, I will not pose. I don't know. Maybe I will figure it out. I don't know. To be fair though, like until now, like they've given nothing away, right? It's a ship. It's beaming. Yeah. It's attacking things with a beam, right? Basically, that's what's going on at this point.
Okay. Yeah, they're being destroyed with this white light.
It reminds me, like the only thing I could think of is like those Romulan outposts that got fucked up back in like TNG, right?
Oh wow, okay.
That's all it reminds me of. But that's because I think the first attack was on Romulans too, so maybe that's why my brain went to there.
Well, we'll find out. Very cool. Well, I'm excited to talk to you next week.
She says the Badgie episode is good, and I hated Badgie, which is reassuring. Yeah. It is reassuring.
Toddy, next week we won't be live, so we'll have
to talk about... How dare you? You didn't rate the episode. I know that you give it an 11. I get it.
It's a 10. Yeah. No, this one's a 10. This one's a 10. What about you? What do you give this?
I give it a 7.5.
That's pretty high for you. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So then it's averages out to like a 9. So that's great. Okay, good.
There we go. Because then people are gonna yell at you. You're gonna receive emails, you know.
I actually used to. You give everything a 10. How can you be critical? It's terrible. I don't get it anywhere.
It was probably Ruben.
Actually, I think Ruben was one of those people who not emailed me, but said something along the lines of, "How can I take you seriously? You give everything a 10." And I was like, "How can I take you seriously? You give everything a 1." But anyways,
boom. How'd you feel about that, Ruben? You can't defend yourself because you're not on the show, Ruben.
Right. He's probably lurking in the audience.
Yeah, he's creeping.
He's creeping. But anyways, Toddy, what do you got going on? Anything special you want to promote or talk about other than our discussions?
I got this going on.
Yes, you do.
And you're my special thing that I promote. How about that?
Thanks, Smoopsy, or whatever Rutherford says. You're the best. You're the best platonic friend in the world. I love you.
Yeah, no, this is what I got. This is what I got going on in the world of Star Trek at the moment. And other than that, I've started watching Fallout on my end, and I will continue watching Discovery.
Excellent. Oh, where are you on a Discovery?
I've seen
are you caught up? Oh man, you got to get caught up.
I'm gonna get caught up. I will not let
5 was. So
I won't let the full season go by without me. That I won't do that. So I will catch up.
And who knows? Maybe we can get you on the finale discussion, like when we're saying goodbye to Discovery or something like that. It might be nice. So we'll try to do
the end of an era.
The end of an era. It's true. It's true. There's Ruben popping
there. He is. He's
he was lurking. He's totally creeping. All right, folks. Thank you for joining us, audience. It was so much fun. I'm glad.
Get back to writing, Ruben.
Yeah, go back to writing and whatever
You're doing
else
good,
it is
so
you do.
keep on going.
Yeah.
Keep that momentum.
Live long and prosper, everybody. And again, we'll be pre-recorded next week on both of these Friday discussions, but we'll be back again live the following week. Don't forget to tune into Text Trek in just a few hours. In 2 hours, they're going to do a deep dive on the latest Star Trek Discovery episode, Mirrors. Very cool episode. Don't spoil it for Toddy because he hasn't seen it, but neat new insight on a species, on a Star Trek species that we know really well. So you'll see that. And there's not going to be a Starfleet Sohail After Dark with me, but there's a chance that Marcelo might be able to get a little gang together tonight. And if he does do that, look out for an announcement for an After Dark show with Marcelo hosting. So check that out, everyone. Tomorrow we start our deep
Man is like
space.
Jimmy Kimmel. He has like replacement hosts.
I do.
He just pulls up these celebrity guests.
Oh my
Whatever.
gosh. I wouldn't mind being a Jimmy Kimmel of Star Trek. That's kind of cool. Did you see that interview he did with Nicole Kidman where she admitted to him that she was interested in him back in the day? Oh, I'll send
What?
you the link.
No,
It's
I
really
haven't seen
funny.
that.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Isn't he married, poor guy?
Well, now, yeah, but like this is like 20 years ago or whatever.
Oh,
Like
okay. I was gonna say it
it's a
must have been
story
like
from
an
20
awkward
years ago.
moment.
Totally awkward. But tomorrow we start our Deep Space Nine episode discussion, starting with Emissary. I'm very excited
Oh, that's nuts.
about that. Yeah,
Angry Picard.
Yeah. What do you mean, Angry Picard?
Well, there's Angry Picard, and there's like Angry Picard and Angry Cisco. They're like hating each other.
Oh, well, yeah. It's more like Angry Cisco and
it's cold. It's a cold Picard.
It's like a yeah. I guess it's interesting. It's very good. It's meaty stuff. I'll just say that.
There's a tension going on. There's a dynamic there.
There's a really good tension. It's a really good episode. So check us out. We'll be talking about that tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And until then, live long and prosper, and we will see you next time. Thanks for joining.